All right, everybody, welcome to Wild AI. Thanks for coming out. All right, so tonight we've got three awesome guests, or guest speakers, but just a quick accounting. How many people are here for the first time? Fantastic. How many people have gotten here 2 times? 3 times? Who's been here since the first event? Excellent. Thank you everybody so much for coming out. We're super happy to have you. Also, thank you for everybody tuning in on the live stream. So, this month, we've got 3 great speakers. And just as, I guess, just to edify Wild AI, so we've got 3 speakers. Each has 5 minutes to talk about who they are, what they're working on, why it's important, and how it intersects with AI. We also have a couple minutes to have some questions from the crowd. Speakers, just a reminder, please, if you get a question, just repeat it so the crowd and also the live stream can hear the question. And away we go. So our first speaker tonight is going to be Kate Kuhl. She's a seasoned local application developer here in Minneapolis. You've probably met her. She's super active in the startup community. And tonight she's going to be talking about her perspectives on vibe coding, but more importantly, where vibe coding fails in security practices and processes. So please welcome Kate.
I'm Kate, and I'm going to talk a little bit of more than just where it fails, but where we can do better with security and vibe coding. So this probably won't be 5 minutes. I kind of have a short talk, but I do have my prompts that I've been playing around with over there on the computer, so if anyone wants to see them. But basically, I think everyone's heard about the security problems that vibe coding has. That there's been some high-profile cases. People try to make a startup and then they put their API keys right in the code and hell breaks loose. So what do we do about this? Because people are going to continue to vibe code, right? Whether you like it or not. I'm a software engineer, trained software engineer, but not everyone is. And I think we should democratize code and have more people have access. So what I did is I developed a list of, originally it was 32 different prompts that you could put into there, which is a little bit long. So I shortened them down to 8. So I have a short version and a long version of just these prompts that I've been playing with them in Cursor. So an AI IDE. I suppose that doesn't even explain it more, but if you're not a coder. But basically, putting these prompts in, it'll look for things like the OWASP like top 10, it'll look for other security vulnerabilities, look for your API keys, and you can just basically type these prompts in. I would love to see this be just part of how Cursor does things or part of how Lovable does things, but I think we're a little ways away from there. So in the meantime, if anybody wants to see the list, let me know, and that's what I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. Any questions for Kate?
And I am not although I have been to a DEF CON, I am not a security engineer, just putting that out there. I'm just someone that thinks security is important.
How long do you think the meantime will be?
The meantime?
Meantime meaning how long before this becomes standard practice built into the...
Hopefully soon. I'm not seeing a trend towards it, but I would love, if anybody knows the people, I know somebody that knows somebody at Lovable, but if anyone knows someone at Lovable, I would love to have a conversation.
Do you have a perspective way of incorporating this into the CI/CD pipeline?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Right now it's just a list of prompts that you do in Cursor, but I feel like that would be super interesting, is taking it one step further and actually having these and having them fail, and having a human in the loop to curve if that actually makes sense, and have that test on there. It'd be super interesting. Yeah?
Are you running these prompts with a local LLM, or are you sending them to a third party?
So I'm using third party. I'm just using Cursor. So I'm using the ChatGPT 5 model. So the potential there is when you, as you might know, look, if you send it out, you could be sending out your keys as well. So this is far from perfect in that regard.
All right, thank you, Kate. Kate's a great resource just for any local entrepreneurial or startup or technical community talk. really well networked in that regard, so please come talk to her if you got any questions about that or what she's working on too. And Kate, we can send out those prompts if you send them to me. We can get them community. All right. Next, we have Mr. Alex Baines, who's the CPO and co-founder of Fulcrum Science. He's Harvard grad, got his MS at Tennessee. He's going to talk about a topic that we've had a couple times, your digital self, but more specifically, how it's intersecting with his life science research in healthcare and his experience getting AI in the loop. So please welcome Alex.
Thank you. So just about myself, I've been working in startups for over 25 years, and I have background in computer science, robotics kind of work. Got into life science and been really interested in that space for a long time. Quite a number of years ago, my first startup was a computational modeling company where we built physiology models to help people understand disease, specifically for drug discovery. We built models in rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and we're able to use those primarily with pharmaceutical companies. Over time, one of the things we got challenged to do was to actually create a model of an individual. And at the time, we called it digital self, and nowadays we call it a digital twin. And so I did that in a very manual, intensive way. As one of my colleagues said, took several PhDs, a couple of months to do, and now we can do it in minutes. That company ultimately did not survive, but another company that some of my colleagues continued working on that technology, and we now have a company today called Fulcrum Neuroscience that has a neurodegenerative model. And one of the first things we've done with that is we built a prototype of clinical decision tool so we can create digital twins and then look at the future for a person and how they might be able to change their future risk based on different interventions that they would take. It has a computational core of the physiology, and then it uses a Bayesian machine learning process to be able to do the digital twin match. The other part of it is we're looking at potential drug targets and therapeutics that could be applied to help prevent and treat neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's. So today the three things we're focused on is we're continuing to develop that platform as we've, one of the things that happened to us recently was, or in the last year, was found that there was some data we couldn't reproduce, and then that caused us to understand there's some important biology we didn't include in the model. So we continue to develop the model. We're doing wet lab experiments to confirm the computational insights that we've got. And then the third thing is we're incorporating more AI components into what we do, in part to make our process of building the model faster. So more machine learning elements to it, starting to use some agentic AI in that. I think longer term there's an opportunity to combine what we're doing with more LLM-based scientific things where they need a model to really constrain what they're doing, and we will be able to provide that basis for it. So that's what we're doing. Again, the work is Fulcrum Neuroscience, and my name is Alex Baines, and thanks for your attention.
Is it a medical device?
Is it a medical device? So the work that we've done on the life science research side, no, because it's research. On the other side, where it's clinical decision support, that's an area where we're exploring how we might approach that. But there is if you're doing clinical decision support and you don't provide certain kinds of guidance, it's not a medical device. So, but it's something we're thinking about. Yes.
Yeah, can you say a little bit more about the model? Is it a systems biology model? You're looking at genomics, transcriptomics?
Yeah, it's a systems biology model, so it's a system of ordinary nonlinear differential equations, ODEs. It is, I'm trying to think what the size of it is, but it includes different sort of component areas in the brain that are responsible for the support and health of the different cell types in the brain and how they communicate and interact. And then how that breaks down as you get older, and then how it breaks down under sort of different genetic differences between individuals, different environmental factors. So there's kind of a healthy decline, and then how that could change by your genetic predisposition. So for example, if you have the ApoE4 genotype, have one or two copies of that that's represented within there, and you can show how that person is more likely to get Alzheimer's faster. Hopefully that helps.
Any other questions? Got one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sort of already answered. I was just going to ask like, what's the level of so is it just
Yeah, no, that's great. So I think part of what we want to do is be able to, so the question was, what do you include in the model? I'm sorry, I should repeat that question, it was similar. But is it just genomics? So with the genetics, you can do with people, you can get some idea of risk, but then it's hard to understand, well, what if you do more preventative things? What if you're in a different environmental situation? There are people who actually get sort of dementia or other issues that are actually purely environmental, and if you change the environment, it goes away, and it doesn't have anything to do with Alzheimer's, for example. So we want to represent the physiology, but then what do those, if you have a particular genetic marker, what does it make up? What does that actually do to you from a biochemical perspective? If you have a dietary change, or if you're on a particular medication, what does that do to you from a biochemical perspective? So the inputs are these different sort of things which ideally to be able to do decisions for would be things that are in an electronic medical record or in a clinical trial sort of data. On the output side, it's what is your cognitive score over time, for example, is one of the things.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hayes. I know for a fact there's several individuals in here that will probably follow up with you, Alex. That's some really exciting work. Last but not least, we have Mr. David Monteclago. Sorry if I mispronounced that, David. But David's a seasoned Boston Scientific engineer, but has a very strong, deep passion for virtual reality, and has already created a really interesting product that a lot of people are interested in. But he's going to be talking about not only his product, but how AI has been interfacing with previous products and how it will be interfacing with his future products in virtual reality in the future. So please welcome David.
Hello, so I'm the president of Virtual Go LLC. I founded it back in 2018. I have a strong interest in mixed reality experiences. But the mixed reality experiences I'm developing aren't just room scale where you play in one room. You're playing through the entire house or entire environment using an adaptive meshing system that uses point cloud data to transform any area into a video game, essentially. So the difference between mixed reality and virtual reality is virtual reality, you put on the headset, you're like in another world. Mixed reality, you're seeing everything around you, but only you have virtual characters, effects, monsters, all kind of chasing you around. The two products, or the two games that I've created are Hauntify Mixed Reality, which can turn any house into a horror game. So imagine like a haunted house and you have a ghost detector. The ghosts are able to navigate room to room, up and down stairs, and it's almost like you're wearing a ghost detector on your headset. And one of the features I'm really excited about is utilizing AI to be able to identify specific furniture or elements in your environment. For example, the AI would be able to identify, let's say, a TV, a couch, or a bed, and then that would add enhanced gameplay elements, and the behavior of, let's say, the ghosts would be able to navigate or perform, actions that would frighten the player. So this technology, is just rapidly changing as companies are developing more advanced headsets. It's becoming a lot easier to have higher quality experiences, and you can actually, really scale this up to even multiplayer, or even have it be available for enterprises. So some of the technologies, such Meta is kind of a lead in this technology as well, and they're developing sunglasses that you're able to have a virtual assistant with you, and it's able to actually identify what's in your environment. which can also help you with, like, let's say, putting together, let's say, a car, or even cooking, let's say, your favorite recipe. AI will be with you kind of at all times and helping you with all day-to-day tasks. My focus is mainly on in terms of entertainment. I know sometimes data collection can be a huge issue, and that's why it's important to read the EULAs of these larger companies. But as a sole developer myself, I'm just focused on creating good gameplay experiences and making it really fun for the user. And my ultimate goal is to gather funding to move this into the enterprise space and make this more of a social experience rather than just a solo experience. Thank you.
Any questions for David? This sounds awesome. Is this game available?
Yes, so it is available on the Quest 3 or the Quest Store. So the names are Haunify Mixed Reality, and then another game is called FPS Enhanced Reality. It's kind of like a Call of Duty type of game. You're defending your house against like invaders. So two different genres.
All right.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
And that is our lineup for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. The Wild AI community is not a community without you, and I just really appreciate every month people coming and filling out this bar, hearing stories about people forming companies, hearing stories about people reframing their research because of somebody they bumped into, finding jobs, etc. So thank you so much for reinforcing this initiative, and I'm so happy that it resonates with all of you. To our live streamers, I apologize for the rocky start, but please give me any feedback to make sure that your experience goes a little better next time. And again, thank you very much. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and hope to you all make some really good connections. Thank you.